Hi, my name is Justin Richardson. I'm General Manager of Direct Colors. I want to visit with you a little bit about tinted sealer application on concrete. Today we're going to work a little bit on a precasted slab that we've already prepared. This has already been cleaned. We've already got it nice and porous. Those are two very important aspects to the beginning of any decorative concrete project. You do want a clean surface free of mastic, overspray, paint overspray, anything that could be on that finish. And then you want to make sure that you have decent porosity so your products can nest into the finish of the concrete. If it's too slick, they can't nest and it's harder for a sealer to bond. Now, one of the things that we offer to get this prepared, we do a Concrete Cleaner Degreaser, which is citrus based. It's friendly to your concrete and it'll do a really good job of cleaning. For etching, there's a variety of different ways. You could really go mechanically, which would be sanding or grinding, or you could do it chemically, which would be like a muriatic acid, or what we offer here is a hard trowel floor prep. It's a citrus-based product you add with water. It's a lot kinder to your concrete, a lot kinder to you. When you're doing your application, it's not as harsh. And the hard trowel floor prep, you mix it with water according to instruction, apply it, and it will actually etch your surface and get it opened up to where it's good for a decorative finish. So it's a great product to use. But what we're going to apply today is going to be our water-based. This is a satin finish, water-based tinted sealer in charcoal. And we're going to apply it on here with a 3/8 inch nap roller. We also sell the rollers. The rollers are very good quality applicator. They're woven fibers rather than glued, so you have much less risk of fibers shedding and getting into your finish. And it also has a phenolic core, so it's a solvent resistant core that will keep the core of the roller intact during an application if you're using a solvent based sealer. That's an important note. So let's go ahead and start an application. The tinted sealers, any of these, they have to be shaken up thoroughly. All of them will say shake well before use, and every time you fill a tray or a sprayer, if you're spraying it up, you do want to shake it completely to get those pigments circulated into the sealer evenly. So we're going to put a little bit of this in here. There's a lot more in this bottle than what we need to get this particular surface sealed. A quart of tinted sealer will cover about 50 feet with 2 applications on a smoother finished surface. So here, the nap on this, again, it's a 3/8 inch nap roller. When you're rolling sealer on, it's critical that you allow the weight of the roller to do the application. You don't want to press on it to squeeze material out because you'll force heavier amounts of pigment into the pores in different areas and you wind up with streaks and roller lines everywhere. It's one of the little pro tips whenever you're doing your application. I'm going to go ahead and soak this roller. We're going to get it saturated all the way down to the core. We want to make sure it is wet through and through. And then we're going to bleed off a lot of the excess and start along the far corner. Of course, we're working on a small space. The application method here is the same whether you're doing a large square footage floor or a countertop or whatever you might be working on. Very light-handed, allowing the weight of the applicator to do the application. You want to maintain as even of a coating as you can. Again, don't squeeze down. If you're getting a little bit light on material, load the roller again, run the excess out, and repeat. It's very straightforward. Our color chart for tinted sealer basically represents 2 coats of material. And usually when you're applying a sealer, you want to get 2 thin coats of that material down before you come back and put a finish on it. So we'll just kind of finish this out. The first coat goes down. We recommend, if you're rolling, kind of this north-south direction, and then your recoat time for your second on this material is about 12 hours. And you would come back and do your second coat 12 hours later in the opposite direction, creating a little bit of a crosshatch, and that way if you do get a little bit of a line in your application, you can even that out whenever you crosshatch it. We just do a push across here, kind of even this a little bit. It's a really beautiful color. When this is charcoal, and as this dries, when you're putting a water base down, it actually goes down a little bit milky. You can see some of these dots and things like that. Those will go away, and it'll be a nice charcoal color. And then of course it'll darken a little bit whenever we come back and do our second application. So let me just give this one more stroke across here. Sealer has soaked into the finish very, very nicely. It's going to be a very beautiful color. We'll come back here in about 12 hours and then we'll give this a second coat going in the opposite direction and let it dry out a little bit and show you what it looks like as a finish. Okay, we're back. It hasn't been a full 12 hours. We're a little bit earlier for our second coat here. This is actually dry to the touch. I can run my hand across this. It's nice and dry. If you're doing a floor, we do recommend that you give this a full 12 hours. And the main reason is because you're going to need to get it back out and walk on that surface. What you're really waiting for, more than just a dry touch, and this is especially if you have to walk on it, is you're waiting for the acrylics to harden. If you get out there and walk on it too quickly while the acrylics are still a little bit soft, you can print them, or even worse, they'll stick to the sole of your shoe and you'll lift it. So here we're back. It's been about 6 hours. And we're going to go ahead and apply the second coat. Like I say, this is dry. Just to kind of bring you back up to speed with where we're at, this was a cleaned, profiled surface using Direct Colors Hard Troweled Floor Prep. And then we sealed with a water-based charcoal sealer. Our first application went in a north-south direction. We're going to do our next application in an east-west. That way if you get any very, very subtle lines or something, when you crosshatch like that, you'll even it out. We're going to use the 3/8 inch nap roller, which is what we put the first coat down with. Again, I have another, or a new nap roller here, the same, just a new one. You don't want to use the one you used previously because after that much time the acrylics will start to harden in the nap and you won't get the same application. We want to keep everything equal, so using a new roller per coat is your best practice. We're going to go ahead and saturate this again, bleed off the excess, and then start the application in the opposite direction. Again, our color charts are all based on 2 coats of sealer. If you go with a single color or a single coat, there's no problem, but you are going to get a lighter color than represented on the Direct Colors color chart. Tinted sealer is such a great product. It's a quick way to add color to your concrete. You can see you do get a little bit more of an even coloration, which is very nice. We've got about 30-35 colors to choose from. Anywhere from several shades of gray, browns, really all sorts of pretty colors you can do. And it gets you a fairly quick return to surface. Okay, so that's pretty much the second coat. The milkiness that you see in this kind of has a white cast to it, will go away. That will not dry. It'll dry clear in the color that we're intending. I'm just rolling over this to give it a final little coat right here. It really is that simple. Clean surface, profiled surface, application, 2 coats, 12 hours in between coats, about 24 hours before you get back on it with foot traffic. If you're doing an interior finish, a floor, you would come back with a couple of coats of floor wax, or finish as they call it, and the floor wax basically puts two thin layers of acrylic over the top of this, and that becomes your wear surface. So really all you have to do over time is maintain your wear surface. So I hope you enjoy the presentation. If you have any questions about it, we've got a great technical staff at Direct Colors. You could call us anytime from 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock Central Time, Monday through Friday. We'll be able to help you out with your project. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again.